Being around the Geometry Dash community a lot, I often see people say things like more creators need to prioritize good gameplay over decoration, or that RobTop's rating standards should focus more on good gameplay. This seems to be a fairly popular opinion, but despite that, it seems like a lot of creators are just doing the opposite. Why is this? Well, there's a problem with how people view levels as a whole, so today I'm going to tell you what that problem is and how to overcome it. Let's learn how to truly take a gameplay first approach. Alright, so what's the problem? The problem is people often view gameplay and decoration as entirely separate things that have nothing to do with each other. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Gameplay and decoration combine together to create one unified experience. Gameplay is a significant part of how a level looks. The way your icon moves, maybe to the music, is a part of decoration. Similarly, decoration can have a significant impact on how a level plays. Obscuring the player's vision or using some crazy camera effects can significantly change how a level feels to play. The problem is, creators will often build a layout that's satisfying to play through as a layout and then kind of think they're done. Unfortunately, you aren't done. When building a layout, you only get a small sliver of what it's like to actually experience the level as a whole. Not only are you experiencing playing the level without its decoration, you're also experiencing it as someone who's already learned it. Since you made the level, you've kinda already learned it, so playing it, you don't have to go through that learning process. So by playing your level, you can only really find out if it just feels satisfying to play or not. That's the mistake I made building gameplay back in the day. I thought it was really fun because I found it satisfying, but I didn't really consider the learning experience of the level. And again, you're also not experiencing the level with decoration. Especially now in 2.2, decoration can make a huge difference in how your level plays. Back in 1.9, it rarely made that much of a difference. But now in 2.2, you can build a layout and add only visual objects, but entirely change how the level plays. And this is definitely something that reflects in modern levels. A lot of them do seem to be taking this decoration first approach. But if so many people are pushing for good gameplay, why are they doing this? These 2.2 levels with insanely flashy visuals or something that doesn't even feel like GD, they tend to go mainstream. Unfortunately, the most popular levels tend to be the ones that push extremely flashy visuals and ignore gameplay quality. These levels go mainstream because they can be really interesting to someone who doesn't know very much about Geometry Dash. Someone who only played Geometry Dash in middle school like 8 years ago will look at a level like this and be amazed. A level that was once just your cube jumping over some spikes is now this visual marvel. From a more mainstream, less GD-focused audience, these will capture the most attention. And of course, since these are the most popular levels, a lot of creators will try to follow in their footsteps. So we're seeing a significant portion of non-demon levels nowadays push like really flashy visuals, ignoring gameplay, lots of crazy camera movements. It becomes really hard to tell what's going on a lot of the time. It's possible that underneath all the flash and pizzazz there lays some fun gameplay, but it's entirely been covered up. These levels are better off being watched on YouTube than played in the game. When you're playing a level, you have to focus on your icon. You don't have time to look at all the specific details and crazy visuals that these levels flash. You don't get to see those until you actually watch a video of the level. And to me, that makes no sense. Geometry Dash is a game, so I think the perspective of the person actually playing the level is the most important one. It's really hard to appreciate the visuals in a lot of these 2.2 levels. And this point leads right into my solution, how to make levels that truly feel gameplay first. Instead of thinking it as gameplay over decoration, it might be better to think player over viewer. Prioritize the experience of playing the level over viewing the level. It would be disingenuous to say that you have to decrease the quality of decoration to increase the quality of gameplay. Instead of making your decoration worse, make it in service of a playing experience instead of a viewing experience. This means thinking of your visuals as not something to be looked at and thought, oh wow, that's so pretty to look and stare at. Instead, to be something that elevates the mood or vibe of your level. Something the player will see, but not directly, that cements the environment you're trying to put them in. A great example of this is Nejfu's Sunward. If you watch a YouTube video of this level, you might look at the visuals and find them a little boring. They're not doing a ton, but when considered from the player's perspective, I find them to be absolutely incredible. The level opens and one of the first clicks is actually a blind click. Some people might say that's a problem, like blind clicks are usually annoying, but this one is actually genius. You see, the rest of the first quarter-ish of the level is very easy to sight read. It gets a little more learny later on. So if this first click weren't here, you'd be able to get really far on your first attempt. If the first certain section of a level is sight readable, I tend to develop an expectation that the rest of the level will be sight readable. When that expectation isn't met, I'm spending more time on the level than I initially expected to, and that can be annoying. By adding this blind click at the very beginning, it instantly tells you, hey, you might need to practice this level. A classic example of show don't tell. This level would lose so much aura if it had one of those practice first things at the beginning of the level. And look, I could sit here all day and glaze the gameplay, tell you everything I like about it, and the one little thing that bugs me, but that's not the point of this video. I'm here to talk about how the level prioritizes the player's experience. Let's take a look at this second section, this cube with a lot of buffer inputs. The gameplay takes sync to a whole nother level. This part feels incredibly immersive, and it took me a while to figure out why I was so addicted to playing it. Cause it just seems like a lot of buffers. Just buffering over and over again doesn't seem that interesting. But when you don't buffer, is really important. Every time there's a timing instead of a buffer, it's on a specific drum beat. There's always a little more tension in my head when I have to do a full-fledged timing instead of just a buffer. This increase of tension and release happens the exact same time the song feels that same tension and release with the drum beat. The gameplay matches the song perfectly here, and the decoration amplifies it. Instead of having flashy, distracting visuals, the visuals become a background to my focus. And I mean, literally. The background of the level changes color every time I have to do one of those timings. From the playing experience perspective, that's all I could really ask for. This bit of decoration adds to the immersion of the part really well. None of the visuals in this level particularly stand out to the player. Nothing is trying to draw your attention away from the screen. This is something a lot of the newer levels do wrong. They try to draw your attention away from the gameplay with its visuals. It's almost like a fight for your attention. The decoration in Sunward doesn't try to draw my attention away. It just adds that extra layer of immersion needed to make the level feel like a full experience. I also want to mention the green orb section of this level. It's my favorite part, easily. Such a simple concept, but executed beautifully. But there's one specific thing the decoration does here that enhances the playing experience. This orb would normally be an off-screen timing, which could be seen as kind of unfair. Luckily, the rest of the part used these lines to connect the green orbs to each other. You can use these lines to triangulate the position of the green orb that's off screen, knowing where it is before you come into contact with it. Not only are these lines visually appealing, they have a functional purpose as well. I really hope to see more creators take this player-focused approach when building their levels. But I don't say all this to disparage or hate on creators who make these more visual-focused levels. Not at all. They're incredibly talented. I just think their talents would be better used making auto levels at the very least, or better yet, like video editing. Using their talents to create Geometry Dash levels is like the world's biggest bodybuilder using his big muscles to run a marathon. It's just not conducive to what you're trying to do. My favorite levels of all time do a great job of immersing the player into their environment. The gameplay and decoration should both work in tandem with the song to elevate this environment. If you want to make your levels more gameplay oriented, shift your mindset to prioritize the playing experience as a whole. That's what I have for today. Thank you so much for watching.